I'm 107 years old. 107. Let that sit with you for a second. I've been breathing this air since horses still pulled wagons down dirt roads in my town. I've lived through 2 world wars. I stood in a living room with tears in my eyes, watching a man step onto the moon on a black and white television. And now I talk to a phone that talks back to me. Lord have mercy. That's a long stretch of time for one body to hold up. And I'm still here, still thinking clear, still walking without somebody pushing me around in a chair. And I'll tell you something that might rattle a few cages. Every doctor who ever wagged a finger at me about my cholesterol is gone. Every last one of them, gone on to glory. And I'm still sitting right here. They came at me over the decades with their pressed white coats and shining new prescriptions. Don't eat this, cut back on that. This will clog you up, that will shut you down. Half the time it sounded less like advice and more like a sales pitch, sponsored by some company trying to move product off a shelf. Now listen, I'm not against doctors. They saved my husband's life once. I respect knowledge, but I've learned to separate wisdom from marketing, and those two are not the same thing, not even close. The truth I'm about to tell you didn't come from a lab. It didn't come from a commercial between the evening news and the weather. It came from kitchens, from gardens, from watching what happened to folks who ate real food and what happened to folks who didn't. I don't believe in miracle powders. I don't believe in $8 and $9 supplements with fancy labels. I believe in food that looks like food, the kind that grows in dirt, swims in water, or walks under the sun. There are 7 things I've eaten steady for most of my life. 7 things that have been my quiet companions while the world changed its clothes 100 times. And before you roll your eyes, just stay with me. You might hear something that sounds a little too familiar. First one, coffee. Yes, I said it, coffee. A strong black cup, no sugar mountain, no chemical swamp of flavored creamer, just coffee. I've been drinking it since I was about 16 years old. Back then it was percolated on the stove, thick enough to stand a spoon in, and I still drink it every morning. They told me it would wreck my heart, make me jittery, raise my pressure. You know what wrecks your heart? Constant fear, non-stop stress, worrying yourself sick over every headline on that glowing screen.
Coffee wakes up the mind. It tells your body, we're alive, let's move. It's packed with those antioxidants they talk about now, like they just discovered gold. We didn't know the word back then. We just knew it made us feel sharp. And hear me clearly. Black. Drink it black. Once you drown it in syrup, in fake cream, you've turned medicine into dessert. That's not the coffee's fault. Second thing, berries. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries when they're in season. When I was a little girl, we picked them off wild bushes behind the house, came home with purple fingers and stained shirts. Now I buy them in neat little cartons under bright grocery lights. World changed, but berries didn't. They're sweet, but not that frantic kind of sweet that sends your blood sugar spinning like a carnival ride. The darker the color, the better. Those deep blues and reds carry protection in them. Polyphenols, they call it now. Back then, we just said, the darker the fruit, the stronger it is. That color protects the plant from the sun and the bugs, and it does something similar inside you. Keeps the fire of inflammation from burning out of control. I eat a handful every day, not a bowl the size of Texas, just a handful, consistent. Third one comes from the water, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, the oily kind folks wrinkled their noses at. I didn't grow up with fancy salmon dinners, but we had sardines, ate them straight from the can with crackers. My husband used to laugh and call it Depression-era cuisine. I called it brain fuel. Your brain is mostly fat. Nobody told us that in school. It needs the right kind of fat to stay slick and working. EPA, DHA, big letters for simple truth. That oil keeps the wiring from drying out. People get scared about mercury, and sure, be wise, but I'm more scared of losing my memory. I've seen what that looks like. I've watched friends stare at their own children like strangers. That frightens me more than a can of sardines ever could. Fourth, eggs. The whole egg, yolk and all. For 50 years they tried to convince us the yellow part was a villain, threw out the best piece, and kept the boring white. That yolk is where the strength lives. Choline for your brain, lutein for your eyes. It's a complete little package of life. You could build a chick out of it. Think about that. I eat 2 most mornings, fried, sometimes in a little leftover bacon grease. And at 107, my heart is still beating steady as a drum. Fifth one, and this one makes people nervous, red meat. Real red meat. From cows that walked on grass under open sky, not animals raised under fluorescent lights their whole life. They'll tell you it's deadly, that it's the enemy.
Your body needs iron. It needs B12. It needs carnitine. Those aren't buzzwords. Those are building blocks. You feel weak. You feel worn down. Sometimes it's not old age. Sometimes you're just underfed in the nutrients that carry oxygen through your blood. A cow is a miracle machine. It turns grass and sunlight into strength. That's not evil. That's nature. Sixth one is something folks used to eat without thinking about it: fermented food. We didn't say probiotic. We said sauerkraut, pickles, buttermilk, yogurt that tasted tangy, not like birthday cake. Your gut is like a garden. If the soil's dead, nothing thrives. Those fermented foods put life back into the soil. Good bacteria, quiet helpers. I've always believed most sickness starts in the belly. When digestion runs smooth, the rest of you follows along better. Seventh, this is my little daily spark. Raw cacao. Not candy bars at the checkout counter. I'm talking about bitter, dark powder that tastes almost wild. I stir a spoonful into my morning coffee. It's got compounds in it that wake up your cells, help your body make new energy factories. Mitochondria, they call them. I call them spark plugs. At my age, you need all the spark you could get. So that's my list. Coffee, berries, fatty fish, eggs, red meat, fermented foods, raw cacao. Notice what's not on there. No neon drinks, no boxed diet meals shipped to your door with a celebrity smiling on the label. This food built me, fed me through heartbreak, through childbirth, through burying friends, through watching the world go from radio to rockets. But listen close now, and don't miss this part. Food is the fuel. It is not the engine. You can eat perfectly and still wither if your spirit dries up. You need a reason to get out of bed. You need somebody to care about. You need something to look forward to, even if it's just sitting on the porch watching the sun melt into the trees. Bitterness will age you faster than bacon grease ever could. Resentment will clog you quicker than an egg yolk. Forgive people, even when they don't deserve it. Laugh when your knees creak. Let yourself enjoy simple things. I've outlived almost everyone I grew up with. That's a strange kind of loneliness. But I'm still here because I never stopped finding something worth staying for. So, if you're sitting there thinking it's too late for me, let me tell you something gentle but firm. As long as you're breathing, it's not too late to feed yourself better. Not too late to soften your heart. Not too late to step outside and feel the sun on your face. I'm not special. I just stayed steady. One cup of coffee, one pan full of berries, one honest meal at a time, one day at a time. And maybe, just maybe, you'll look up one day and realize you've stuck around longer than anyone expected. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's about time for my evening tea, and I plan on waking up tomorrow too.